Welcome to another beautiful spring day in Niagara and season 3, episode 17 of Hello Buddy, how you doing? How you doing? No, he's a beauty. Niagara 411 live with Sterry. We are Feulled WeeStreem supported by Performance and Insurance. Just a gorgeous spring day. And by the way, we in the effort today, just to let you know, we are here at the poorhouse as per you. We thought we would take it prime seating. So we're going to take you on a bit of a tour of Fiddler's Poorhouse today. And that poop, can you get that dog be the brother or sister? Sorry, I have a weakness for them, I say. Okay, so come on in. Interesting guest for you today. I'm making it difficult for my producer because I'm doing the dog thing. I'm sorry, it wasn't scripted at all. There's a gentleman by the name of Robb Slater who is on a kidney search, as a lot of people are in our country, and his story is coming up at about 12:15 or 12:20 today. And also there are some other interesting people that we have coming up for you. There's a memorial, actually not memorial, it's a celebration of life coming up very soon. I think it's Sunday, but we'll confirm that for you. With one of the most respected musicians of decades here in Niagara. So we're going to be talking about that and some other things. A shocking video we are going to be using to kick off the program. So again, it's season 3, episode 17 of Niagara 411 live with Sterry, and we'll be back in about 30 seconds. All right, thanks. All right, you will notice that we have a slightly different view, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, we want to kick off this show with probably one of the most shocking, is shocking the right word? I don't know. Attention-getting, whatever, you pick your own adjective, videos of the past week. And of course, we know that there are packs of, I don't know what you use the word packs of, coyotes that live in and around Niagara. There are coyote sightings all the time. There was quite a number of them in the north end of St. Catharines. The most pivotal moment, the most, I'll still use the word shocking thing over the past week happened in Niagara on the lake. And in case you missed it, a woman is out with her small dog for a walk. The dog's on a leash, and, well, you'll see what happened.
It was our grass. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrifying for the person with the coyote is definitely after lunch. No doubt about it. Still screaming. What? Watch it again.
It was our
look at him.
Yeah.
This is one hungry coyote, I'll tell you. Terrifying for that lady. Wow. Now, there are still going on, only obviously we didn't have it in frame. It wasn't us, it was whoever was doing the filming. Kind of ironic that I opened up the show by petting a dog. You know, you're like, Wow.
Give it one more, Lee.
Yeah, show this. I mean, this animal is definitely hungry. He is definitely, he or she.
It was our grass. Yeah.
What was, Kevin, what was it that the person doing the shooting said about, did you say, was there a mouse?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But you heard what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But anyway, that's what I was going to say. There are, gee whiz, how traumatic for that poor lady with her dog. Not only is she worried about the dog, she's worried about herself too. I mean, wow. Okay, to go back, sorry I was speaking in broken sentences, to go back to what I was talking about before. There are things published by the Niagara region as well as the cops, etc., Humane Society. Lincoln County Humane Society probably has maybe one of the best, but anyway, of how to handle and live alongside coyotes, how to deal with them if you happen to have some sort of interaction or there is some kind of attack like that. There's a how-to, or are a number of how-to coyote type sites that you can go to, because in our area there's not, it's unpredictable as to where and when they might show up. Kevin Jack, ladies and gentlemen, on the right-hand portion of your screen. He is the co-founder of WeeStreem, Canada's first and foremost streaming company, as well as the executive producer of this program, Niagara 411 Live. I am Lee Sterry, as I guess you figured out by now. And here we are again in Fiddler's Poorhouse with a slightly different perspective than we're used to. Normally we would be in the window that we have been for the last couple of years, but actually I think this is kind of cool, Kevin. We get a chance to see the facility from a different perspective. Those are the lovely window seats that are now open and ready and willing and able to serve you with the best views in the house. So we magnanimously moved to a different location. So isn't that a beautiful spot? All right. So welcome to Fiddler's Poorhouse, as always. We want to slide over to one of the other impressive stories of the week in a totally different way than the coyote story. And this happened at Sawmill Golf Course. And again, the Good Samaritanism, if there is such a word, is alive and well in Niagara. There was a serious accident in front of the golf course. Neither of the cars involved were playing at Sawmill. They were not involved with the golf course at all. One vehicle was traveling east on Sawmill Road, the other traveling west. They collided head on. However that happens, somebody not paying attention, who knows. They collided head on in front of the golf course entrance. Both drivers were taken to hospital. Obviously, this post was from a few days ago, so we're just bringing it back for the show today. The EMS said that the two groups of golfers that sprinted from the 9th green and the 10th tee saved one of the victims. They pulled him from the car before it caught fire, and we're told that he would not have survived had they not acted quickly and without thought to their own safety. We're looking for these 8 heroes. We would like both foursomes to come back to Sawmill and enjoy 18 holes, carts, a barbecue lunch, and a beverage for 2. If you're any one of these 8 men, please email carrie@sawmillgolf.com. It's the least we can do to thank you for saving a man's life. Isn't that's a wonderful gesture and a great story on a number of different levels, Kevin. First of all, the golfers themselves, having played Sawmill before and having been there, I kind of get an idea about where they were, and if this accident, as they say, happened right out at the gate, there's a close proximity. It would be almost impossible not to notice an accident happening in front of the entrance to the golf course from those locations, the 9th green and the 10th tee. But for the people to... like chances are a lot of people would call 911. Hey, there's been an accident or something. But for all of these people at the same time, and they would not have been golfing together. There would have been a foursome on the 9th green. There would have been a foursome on the 10th tee, and well, maybe they were a group. Who knows? But they all at the same time, without thinking, run over and obviously, as you saw, ended up pulling this one fellow out and ultimately, no doubt, saving his life. So that's the ultimate thumbs up. But then for the golf course itself, which had nothing to do with the accident, nothing to do with those golfers except for the fact that the golfers paid to play there, offer these 8 heroes that were playing there free round of golf and a meal and a beverage, and like, come on back, we need more people like you. So that's the other part of the story that is just wonderful. So it's sort of a twofer we got there, Kevin. We've got 2 Good Samaritan stories in one.
Incredible. Here's the golf course. I've played it a few times. You've probably played it more than I have. Beautiful, nice new facilities there. Is where I'm looking at there. Is that the 10th tee and this the 9th green? Is it the other way around? I know that's 18. Right there, that's the 18th green.
Yeah.
They would have been the closest, but I guess nobody was playing that at the time. I know this is the 3rd tee, but I guess nobody was there. They said that they raced off the 9th tee and the 10th green.
Ninth. I thought it was the 9th green.
Oh, sorry, you're right. It would have been the 9th green and the 10th tee.
10th fairway, yeah.
I think that's the 10th tee right there.
I think so.
And the 9th green would be...
It's always so hard when I get these aerial views to sometimes
well, here I'll show.
Orient myself.
Here's where Lee is normally playing his ball from.
Exactly, off in those trees.
Yeah, off in those trees.
Yeah, so
and
I don't see the greens that often.
I've made a lot of donations right there
In the water, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
On that hole. Love playing Sawmill.
Yeah.
Actually, they do have the gorgeous hole right down here. Remember this? They don't show you the elevation. The
Right.
gorgeous hole where the old Sawmill used to be.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a beautiful facility.
It is. It is gorgeous.
So, what we don't know is, and maybe someone can let us know, is whether any of those 8 men did come forward to claim their Good Samaritan gesture prize from Sawmill. So we don't really know whether they did come forward or not. And Kevin, we don't have an update either on the people that were involved in the accident. We wish we could bring you up to date with their health conditions, but we don't know that.
No, there were some comments of people saying, "Oh, that was my brother that was out playing," but obviously unverified, not really sure. I didn't see in the comments where somebody came forward and said, "Yes, that was me." I saw some names tagged. Lee, it reminds me of an old story. We didn't talk about this. Years ago, I'm going maybe 7-8 years ago, Brandon, who co-owns WeeStream with me, we were playing golf up at what used to be, Loch Ness Links. It changed names a couple of times, and now they're putting houses up there in Welland.
In Welland, okay.
So we were playing there, and we were just a twosome, so a single got added on.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, it's like 40 degrees. He's walking. We get to about the 13th or 14th tee, and the guy collapses on us.
Oh,
He collapses on the ground and starts having a seizure. We don't know this guy. We met him 2 hours ago, and now we're his lifeline.
How traumatic is that?
So Brandon whips out his cell phone. He calls the pro shop and says, "Here's what's going on. Get a card out here for this guy. I'm going to call the ambulance." So now we finally get this guy revived and come to. We're waiting for the cart to come along, and nothing ever came of it. Like I remember the guy kind of wrote us an email the next day saying, "Hey, I'm okay, and I'd love to take you guys back out for a round of golf." And then it just, time passed and nothing. But man, was that freaky. And here we are.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're all of a sudden this guy's lifeline, and up until 2 hours ago, we never met him. We didn't know who he was.
And you don't know what kind of trauma he's going through. He could be dying for all you know.
Yeah, we had no clue. We don't know his past medical history or anything like that. All of a sudden, he was on the bench, and he tipped over. Next thing you know, he's shaking on the ground.
Wow.
And
Before we give you an idea about the rest of what's coming up on the show, I want to once again acknowledge our faithful sponsors. Gales Gas Bars fueling this program, our title sponsor, our main supporter of this show, has been for quite some time now, and it's always a pleasure to represent Jessica Friesen and her gang at at Gales Gas Bars Limited. Also, Performance Heating and Air, Carlo and the gang. I know you're having a busy season getting people's air conditioning ready. Performance Heating and Air, trying to save your family money because they have families that live here too. As do Mark Shirk, son Blake, and the rest of the gang that works at Verge Insurance Group, another Niagara born and bred company. And we're proud to have them as sponsors here of Niagara 411 Live. Also Nick at Niagara 411. Thank you very much again for sort of sharing the wealth and the information with us here at Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. Always a pleasure. Also wearing just in time for the season, wearing the original Australian golf hat from Beau Chapeau on Queen Street in Niagara-on-the-Lake. This hat is made to be foldable, crushable, bendable, livable. It has nice ventilation around the crown, and if it gets really, really hot, like Kevin says, a 40-degree day, you just dip it in the water and you put it on your head, and you cool down immediately. So there you go. That's the description of today's a chapeau. Kevin, coming up today, a gentleman who we've been going back and forth with for weeks, so we wanted to have him on last week. We weren't able to do that, but Robert Edward Slater is a gentleman that is in desperate need of a kidney. And he is not the only one in either Niagara or the province or the country, for that matter, that is in this situation. I don't know whether you've seen this or not, but occasionally I have. I think this need in the area of kidney disease, I think this need is not publicized enough and is much more widespread and much larger than often we think about, because I have seen actual signs on lawns saying a kidney is needed in this house. And I've often thought that is quite amazing. Robb Slater joins us now. And Robb, welcome to the program. How you doing today, pal?
I'm okay, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, I want to read something that you wrote actually on your Facebook page. And by the way, folks, the Facebook page is Robb's Kidney Journey. And I'm just going to read a piece of this. Today marks 3 months on dialysis. Some days are good, more energy, have an appetite, good night's sleep. Other days suck. Drain pain, alarms from the machine at night, feel sick, having to go to urgent care. On those days, I can't imagine having to do this for another 5 years. Having to shower every day, set up, take apart a machine can be daunting, but I'm doing it. That's your daily life. Which one of those days is today, Robb?
Today I'm in the middle.
Pardon?
So it's not a bad day, but it's a pretty okay day.
Okay.
Right? I'm feeling good. I got energy. I'm ready to get up and go.
When were you diagnosed with kidney disease?
So I had been seeing a specialist for quite some time, but in 2018, just before my wife and I got married, I got a phone call stating that my kidneys had deceased 32%. And from there on, it was stability and decrease up until about 2021, last year, when it came to the point where I had to have surgery to start my dialysis. And then as of January, it was the start, and I've been doing it ever since.
Is this I think a lot of people don't understand really kidney disease or what the genesis of it is. Was this a hereditary thing on your part, or I mean, you're a young man.
Yeah, I'm only 31 years old. I have a genetic disorder called Fabry disease.
Okay.
Basically, what it does is it destroys your main and central nervous system and your main organs. Well, your kidney is an organ that's pretty main in your system. So when this first started, we thought we had another 32, even 40 years. Then just out of nowhere, boom, they failed. It was a freak accident, I guess, through my body. But the Fabry's is what caused it.
Okay. When that piece that I read, your post on your Facebook page, mentioned another 5 years. What was the 5-year reference? Is that how long they figure it will take you to be able to get a kidney?
So the deceased donor list for B positive, which is my blood type, is estimated at a 5-year waiting list.
Wow.
So it could be anywhere from 3 to 5 years before I get a kidney, but they always say 5 years. And that's for the deceased donor. That's why we're searching for a living donor, because a living donor comes a lot faster, usually.
Right. And when you say a deceased donor, it means like someone that may have died of a heart attack or a car accident or something of that nature that donates their organs to medical science or the medical world, et cetera, and that's normally the 5 years. So how do they estimate a living donor? I guess it's just finding somebody that matches that is willing, right?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just trying to find someone who's willing to donate, right? The quote for kidney failure is share your spare, right? We're born with 2. We don't really need 2, but we're born with 2, so share your spare. The living donor, like we've had a couple of people come forward, but unfortunately, in the process, they do find out that they have health issues themselves. So, I mean, it kind of saves them from finding out later in life.
Right.
It's just, it's easier. I mean, I guess it's easier to wait the 5 years than it is to find someone who's willing to share, right?
Right. Well, it's a very large decision to donate one of your organs, and I can see family members, of course, stepping up if they match. But for the general public, that's a huge step to make. Even though, as you said, history and science made us such, and our biological history made us such that we have a backup system, meaning if one kidney goes, we've got one to keep us going.
Yeah.
So dialysis, how often do you, first of all, some people might not understand what dialysis really is. So first of all, tell us what you have to go through and how often.
Okay, so I do mine every night.
Every night?
Yes, every night.
Wow.
So there's 2 kinds of dialysis. You have hemo, which is blood. So what you do is you hook up to a machine 3 times a week. It filters your blood. That one's very aggressive on the body. Because of what I do for a living, I chose peritoneal just because I needed to be able to use my arms. So peritoneal I do every night. So every day I set up my machine around 3 o'clock, put my chemicals on the machine, filter the machine and get it primed. And then at night I plug in. It takes about 8 hours. Sometimes it can take a little more depending on alarms or if there's issues throughout the night.
Right.
And it filters in new chemical and then lets it sit for about an hour and a half, and then it takes the new/old chemical out and replaces it again with new chemical. Now it does this 4 times a night.
Wow.
And then the 5th time it's the final fill, which is your dextrox final fill. You hold that one for 24 hours.
So can you sleep through this?
At the beginning I couldn't. There's a thing out there called drain pain, and I'd spoken to many people before making my decision on which one I wanted, and nobody ever mentioned drain pain until after the surgery and my first dialysis. Basically what it feels like is for a man, it feels like your genital area is being pulled into your body. Very violently. It's not fun. It hurts a lot. I could imagine now what a woman goes through for birth. I mean, it's probably 10 times worse, but
Yeah, I know.
it's painful.
Yeah. Okay, and you mentioned what do you do for a living?
So I'm a bell technician. I used to work out in the field. Loved it, absolutely did. But because of dialysis and COVID, I have a weakened immune system. I
Right.
can't take the chance of being around people. So right now I'm working from home.
So Rob, how long can your body withstand this process on as regular a schedule as you run? I mean, it must somehow be debilitating, or am I reading too much into it?
No, so mentally, I have days where I just can't do it anymore. And it's only been 3 months, right? But I mean, your body's pretty resilient. It can kick back, right? I'm not sure exactly how long the body can fight back with the peritoneal.
Yeah.
I know with the hemodialysis, you start showing things like red eyelids, where the blood vessels have come up to the skin, and that never it never heals. Your eyelids will always stay red. I would assume with the peritoneal, you could go the 5 years just because it is a much gentler dialysis. It's just a chemical being flushed in and out of your body.
Right.
And then there's some people who hold it, some people who don't. I hold it for 24 hours.
Okay. Now, my father, although he was at a very advanced age at the time, went through dialysis, and I think it was 2 or 3 times a week. So it was probably the other type of which you're speaking. And again, totally different situation, I grant you. But there are a lot of people out there that are in different situations and reasons for having kidney disease and/or the type of dialysis they do. Why? You said you needed use of your arms. Was the other style of dialysis that was 2 or 3 times a week? Was that? Did that just not fit your lifestyle? I mean, wouldn't that be a little bit, although it's more dramatic, wouldn't that be maybe a little bit easier for you to do as opposed to every night?
So I find the every night a little bit easier just because I can do it while I'm sleeping.
And you can do it at home.
The other one, yeah, exactly. I can do it. Well, you can do the other one at home too.
Okay.
They will train. Oh yeah, you can do them both at home.
Okay.
They will train you to do it. The thing is, the hemodialysis, they sew an artery and a vein together, creating what they call a fistula. Mm-hmm. And that fistula, it grows. And if you push on it, the fistula will collapse. So being a technician, I carry things in my arms daily. So
I got you. Okay.
If I pushed on that fistula, it would have collapsed and I'd have to do the surgery all over again.
Understood. So how can we help you? You've probably seen these too. As I mentioned while I was introducing you, I've seen signs on lawns around Niagara seeking a kidney donor, which is something I hadn't seen years ago, but they're more and more prevalent as, I guess, the need becomes more, we become more aware of it. What do you need? How can we help? Where do we go?
So we're trying to do multiple things at the same time. We're trying to, one, get the word out, right? Let people know, hey, it's not as rare as it used to be, or as rare as you think it is, right? We're advocating not only for myself, but for everybody who's going through this.
Yeah.
And then for myself, we have, we're trying to get, like I said, we are trying to get the word out. So if we could get it out, people could contact the donor team. So the donor team's at St. Joe's. Their number's 905-522-1155, extension 32156.
Right.
Yeah, or you can contact them at livingdonors at stjoes.ca.
Right.
And this isn't only for myself, but you know what? If you have a family member or a friend, someone going through the same thing, they're more than likely going through this at St. Joe's because this is where it happens.
Well, this is the secondary reason. The primary reason we wanted to speak to you today was because of you yourself and your cause, and your wife has been tireless in promoting the need that you're going through right now, because your wife Stella, I was talking with her a couple times this past week setting this up, and she does not want to lose you, my friend, and that's her biggest fear, and that's where all this support is coming from and generated from, and you've got a winner there, pal. I know you.
I do.
And
I do, yeah. She's created a Facebook page, an Instagram page. Both can be found, Robb's Kidney Journey. We've got magnets out on 8 different cars saying that, friend looking for kidney. And it's got the information on it. She's absolutely fantastic.
So kudos. I know Stella's working today, or she would have joined us on here for a conversation. But this could help numerous people. If anybody watching this wants to dig into it a little bit deeper, as you say, the Facebook page. All you have to do is search, go to your Facebook page, and then search Robb's Kidney Journey, and all the information will come up there that we have just been talking about. And you can contact that number or that website that Robb was talking about. You can get tested, and you may not be able to help Robb. Hopefully you can, but if you can't, there may be somebody else on that list that when you're tested you can help. So Robb, this could hopefully help more than just one person get through this.
Correct, yeah, because they have a thing called the paired exchange. If you're not a match for the person you're trying out for, but you're healthy enough to donate, they can exchange your kidney for someone else's kidney. And basically what happens is your kidney will go to someone else who has a donor. Their donor will come to you and you'll get their kidney. So it's 2 for 1.
Right, yeah. So this is a whole community that we have here, and Robb, we wish you all the best. We wish you well. We'll keep up to date with you on your site. Again, say hi to Stella for me, because she was great in helping us get set up, and we wish you good health sooner than later, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, mate. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but earlier this week we lost one of Canada's great songstresses and songwriters from mainly back in the late 60s, early 70s, Susan Jacks. I don't know if you remember the Poppy family, Terry Jacks and Susan Jacks, his wife, until about 1973 when they split. Her biggest hit would have been a song called "Which Way You Goin' Billy." It was a #1 hit in the UK, #2 on Billboard charts in the United States, and just a lovely lady. I had an opportunity to meet her as I went through my media career, and she passed away of ultimately kidney disease this past week. She had a transplant many years ago. It was successful, but she deteriorated when she got older, and granted, she was much older. She had a pretty decent run of it. She was 73 years old when she passed away this week, and again, of kidney failure. So there's a huge need out there, and perhaps you can help. Hopefully you can.
And that would be her right there, right?
There's Susan. Yeah.
I remember way back in the LP days, I grabbed one of these, a variety album. A bunch of different songs.
Like
I forget what they used to call them.
But maybe they were the K-Tel records, best of the 80s or whatever, best of the 70s.
So Which Way You Goin' Billy was on there. And I had never heard the song, and I was a teenager and became absolutely enthralled with the song because it was so unusually fun.
It was about her brother.
It was, huh?
Yeah. And her husband at the time, Terry Jacks, wrote the song. And it was about her brother, and who was going through a bit of a traumatic time. So it's like, which way you going? Can I come too? That kind of thing.
It sounds like one of those songs that should be featured in a Tarantino film.
Yeah, probably one of those sort of
whimsical, but with a dark undertone.
Well, she always had, and I made this comment on the site when I read that she'd passed. The only word I can use to describe Susan's voice was plaintive. She had this plaintive kind of tone in her voice, no matter what song she was singing, which always made her engaging. And just a lovely lady. Again, had a chance to meet them many years ago, and I've seen them a few times. And I don't know, I always had, well, obviously very attractive girl. I always had a bit of a crush on her, to be perfectly honest.
Lee, want to interject here in a couple of minutes, and sorry just to gloss over your crush of Susan Jacks.
That's okay, I'm over it.
Coming up in about 5 minutes, we're going to be talking to Rick McLean about a celebration of life this Sunday for Paul Wheeler Jr.
Yeah, speaking of music.
Yeah, very prominent musician. We always encourage anybody to come on the show at any time, though. And we've got a couple of people in the green room, including Gary. So we'll squeeze Gary in here while we got a little bit of time before Rick.
All righty. Welcome back, Gary. Gary Wilkins, we have been on the program before. Give us an update. What's happening?
Lee, how are you?
Good.
Kevin, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. I guess I just wanted to mention about the contaminated soil that has been carelessly dumped on behind the old Far Lumber on First Avenue in Niagara Falls. And once again, like Mike Cushman and I have once again proven that this whole land is contaminated. And I know we've sent Kevin a whole whack of pictures, and like they have signs saying heavy metals, contaminated soil.
Yeah.
And they're just pushing it around. And once again, and I don't need to elaborate on it too much, but like once again, like how many times do we have to prove this? Like they're pushing that dirt right towards the Lococo's fruit market. And I guess that's all I really want to say. Like it's just like, and now we're being told by the consultants of Rankin that all it is the salt that goes onto the roads. That's a contamination, but that is so false. It's crazy. Like how many times do we have to prove this?
So you're telling
we proved it from YMCA, we proved it from Siamity property, we proved it from east of Siamity property, we proved it from Park Street, we proved it from every aspect that we can prove it. But like, how much money is enough money to put people's lives at risk? Like, I guess that's my point.
Help me. I understand, and I'm sure it's frustrating as hell for you.
Frustrating.
Believing, knowing and believing what you do. When you say you've proved it, and I know we've talked about this before, but I got to ask you again for somebody that may not have been following this story, is what processes and did you use, and how did you prove it? First of all, let me rewind past that.
Sure.
The contaminants that you believe that you've proved are in this soil, in this area, those contaminants are what you believe to be cancer-causing agents, correct?
Absolutely, cancer-causing. We're gonna go with ADHD. We're gonna go with cancer. We're okay. It's a vast variety of cancer. Like I wish Mike Cushman was on here with me, but
that's all right.
All
right, so
he's not.
So that's your claim.
Well, it's not my claim.
No. Hang on. That's what you're saying. But now, how did you say you have proven it? What was the process, again, to bring people up to date? I know this, but tell us again how you say you've proven it.
Well, when we're kept told that land is safe to build on, and then we go onto a separate part of land, another 72 acres of land just behind the Lococo's, where they're pushing all this dirt. They're literally posting, and Kevin has these signs because we forwarded them to him.
Okay.
And these signs read heavy metals contaminant these are extremely difficult things to swallow for the people that don't understand it. I went to the First Avenue site. I went to First Avenue Street, Second Avenue, Third Avenue. These people literally had no clue that this stuff was being put on their backyard, their front yard, or whatever the case may be.
Okay, but let me go back to my question.
By law, but go ahead, Lee.
Let me go back to my question about proving it. Is there an official organization anywhere or that will stand up and come out and say that this is the case? Someone whose opinion or research or article or whatever the heck it is will say, okay, this is actual fact. These agents are actually in this soil, in this land, and can cause these things. Like, what have you got to support officially your position, is I guess what I'm asking.
That man's death.
Who?
That man's death was caused by that property. 900, probably 900 people that I've known from that plant, that when I worked there in the early 80s, have died from various cancers. So that's my proof.
Okay.
And the tar that comes out of that ground just boils out of it. And what more proof do you need?
Okay,
like
I got you.
I understand the political realms of it, Lee. I really, really do.
Well, I wasn't asking a political question. I was asking a scientific question. And my only wish for you, Gary, and I sympathize with your frustration. I do. My only suggestion is the fact that you need some sort of scientific organization to sign off on this.
Well, here's the thing, Lee. Like when we're dealing with a billion-dollar company like the Region,
yeah,
we're dealing with a $500 million city of Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I know.
When we're dealing with, and I get where you're going with this, but when we're dealing with all these things and everybody wants all this new, the new buildings, people just turn a blind eye to it.
No, they can. Some people do.
I encourage your viewers. I encourage your viewers to go to First Avenue, go behind there, because we were just there last week.
We got it.
And there was 4 people there with kids, little kids.
Yeah. Okay. We got it.
Is it safe to play?
Sorry, man.
Is it safe to play on these properties?
Sorry, man. We got people looking for equal time, so we got to go. Okay.
Of course you do.
All right, man. Thanks, Gary. Thank you.
Yeah, we got shut down again.
Thank you, pal. All right, thanks. Don't like to cut people off, but we have other fish to fry, as they say. And this is it's hard when you're dealing with municipalities and health things, and people are committed to what they sticky wickets, Kev. Did you say we had somebody else waiting, or are we going to go to Rick?
Sandra is still holding on, so we'll see if we have time for her. But we do have some scheduled guests, so I don't want to keep them waiting, too long. But
Okay.
anybody's open to join the show, just like Gary did, and Gary's been on the show talking about this issue, and I imagine he'll be back again. But I think you connected the dots there on that one, Lee.
Okay, so we're doing the. Are we okay? Help me out here. Are we doing the Sandra thing, or are we doing the Rick thing?
We'll do the Rick thing.
All right. Is this Sandra that we've talked to before on this program? Okay, I think we've told her story often, unless she has an update for us. We're going to move on to Rick McLean, Celebration of Life for Paul Wheeler Jr. coming up this Sunday at the Fallsview Hose Brigade on Dunn Street in Niagara Falls. Friends of Paul R.K. Wheeler Jr. It's time to kick this into high gear. 6 days left. You get your tickets now. Here's the link. Show the love. And here is Rick McLean. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me on, Lee. This is amazing.
Well, it's our pleasure. These are the kinds of things that we like to do on this program, and especially for someone like Paul, who is well respected and beyond, well loved, I guess, might even be a better way to put it, in his community, meaning not just the community in which he lived, but the community of musicianship If tell us a little bit about Paul Wheeler Jr. so that those people that may have been living under a rock and don't know who Paul was, tell us about Paul.
I mean, this is a musical family that have just been, a bedrock of music here in Niagara, Hamilton, across Canada. Their uncle's Kenny Wheeler, who won, all kinds of awards in jazz and in Britain. And so Paul and John grew up together. That's the two Wheeler brothers. And at the age of 14, they're opening up for Alice Cooper. These guys are musical prodigies. Their father was an amazing clarinet player in the Lincoln and Welland Regiment. Their mother was an opera singer. So just super duper talented. But the thing that set them aside from, in my opinion, to a lot of other people, Lee, is that they were super inclusive. So, you can talk to people in the music industry or any entertainment industry, and sometimes there can be some egos and people trying to claw their way to the top. But Paul always put other people first. He always got everybody on the stage. He was willing to mentor people, and so much so that they actually started those open mic jams, as well as his wife Lisa Clausen, and she's the country half of that musical couple. And so, just getting anybody, encouraging people, saying, hey, get your guitar or your drums, come on up. We've got the rest of the band here. Music is a way to have joy in life. And so always giving. And Paul's been on like so many different people's albums and CDs. And so it's a huge blow to us all, because he was also one of our music elders. When we felt down in the dumps, we went to talk to Paul. And when Paul and I lived together, I'm telling you, Lee, there was always somebody sleeping on our couch, because he would bring in anybody that was down in the dumps and sad and needed a sandwich or needed a place to crash for a day or two. We've really lost a beautiful soul. So
that's another aspect of the musician brotherhood, sisterhood, if you will. If you read the biographies of some of the people back in the day, like Joni Mitchell, Carly Simon, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, all these people that were in a community when they didn't have any money, but they just kind of got together and sang songs. And it was sort of a life-giving, blood-like substance for them that music provided. And I guess Paul and yourself and others sort of fit into that realm. That's kind of the feeling I get.
Absolutely. I mean, it's family, and it has to be, because when you look at the way artists are perceived in Canada or North America, really, unlike Europe, where they often take care of their artists, that's an okay thing to do. Here in Canada, if you tell your dad that you want to be a professional musician, he'll tell you that's a nice hobby, but go get a real job, right?
Exactly.
And so it's difficult to do. And Paul, we call guys like Paul a lifer. So Paul didn't go out and have a job and do this part-time or anything else. Like, this was 24 hours a day music. I did that for a while and I just couldn't do it, but he kept on doing that. So the trouble, Lee, is that with COVID, guys like Paul, no help for them, because that's a gig economy. So, all the bars dry up as far as where you can play when you oh my God, no money. So here we are. We've got to bury just this huge angel of a man, and we need to raise some funds to be able to support the family.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that now. Let's talk about the event. Fill us in on what's going on.
So celebration of life at the Fallsview Hose Brigade on Sunday, 3 to 9, and that was typically when Paul would have his open mic jams. On a Sunday, family oriented, come bring everybody, the kids, have some chicken wings, have a beer or two, and get up on stage, no matter how skilled or, beginner you were. So we wanted to honor that kind of medicine that Paul brought to the community.
Right.
$20 gets you in the door. Tickets are on Ticket Scene, and beautiful Johnny Rocco's buffet. We have bands every 15 minutes. A band is getting up that is going, we loved Paul. He taught us so much. So it's just every 15 minutes, somebody honoring Paul. I mean, Tracy Keane playing Back Together. We have Lyric Dubé. We have Squealer, AC/DC cover band. So all different stuff, and some great prizes too. So we're hoping people will come, celebrate all that Paul was, and that we can raise some funds for the family.
That's awesome. And the idea of a band every 15 minutes is. I will challenge you. Knowing bands as I do, because I've been in a couple, I will challenge you to the fact that that any band gets on and off that stage in 15 minutes.
You know what? People should bet probably with you. It's going to be a challenge, but we're lucky. We have Daryl Gray from Helix, who's our host.
Okay.
And I mean, he's traveled the world in Helix, so he knows. And Christy Hales from the Upper Space.
Oh, cool.
And and what an amazing stage manager she is. So we've told all the bands, be on the left side of the stage already. The other band's done. You hop on the other band's exit stage right. So fingers crossed.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So 3 o'clock on Sunday, Fallsview Hose Brigade on Dunn Street in Niagara Falls. What a great tribute to Paul that you guys have organized. Rick, I know this would be his kind of thing. So that's I'm sure he's going to be picking along with you when it's on there. So that's just awesome.
I believe so too, and thank you, Lee, for this opportunity, because we're hoping that we can sell a bunch of tickets and also gather a lot of people around the family.
Hey, at a $20 ticket that gets you through the door, that's a heck of a day, afternoon, and evening worth of entertainment right there.
Exactly. So come on out, everybody.
And like I said, if everybody plays 20 minutes, you're going to be going till midnight anyway.
It could be.
All right, pal. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you so much, Lee. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Okay, honoring one of Niagara's. I guess this is going to sound really cliche-ish, but unsung heroes on a lot of levels. Paul, well known in the music business and in the entertainment business, generally amongst the citizenry, maybe not as much as he should have been. But what a great tribute to him coming up this Sunday in Niagara Falls. Once again, Fallsview Hose Brigade, Dunn Street, Niagara Falls, this Sunday at 3 o'clock. Show up, pay $20, and you get some great entertainment, guaranteed, and some nice grub at the same time. So
now, I'm really glad that we were able to catch up with Rick there when there was just an outpouring of emotion all over social media. And a lot of people that I knew him, but I never knew Paul.
Yeah.
So this is a great way to kind of keep his legacy alive and celebrate in a fashion that is oh so appropriate. Oh, here, Lee, let's peek in on this.
There we are, folks. That is our former location here at Fiddler. We're still at Fiddler's Poorhouse. Don't get me wrong. We were in this actually. This is kind of cool because we have a nice chance to look at this beautiful historic pub style from where we are here a little bit further down the aisle, and those, ladies and gentlemen, are your special seats heading into the beautiful weather. You can come and sit in the lovely window, and that door, that's a massive garage door, by the way. That's just not a bunch of windows. That door slides open, and you can sit in the open air. It's like sitting on a patio while you're not sitting on a patio. And as the weather gets warmer, that door's going to be open all day long. So that's. We left that open for you today. You're welcome. Okay. Kevin, coming up on the program, I want to let people know who else is going to be joining us. Sandi Day is going to be here, and that always sounds to me like a name that's made up, but it isn't. Sandi Day. She is an addictions counselor with ARID Recovery Homes, and they've got a fundraiser coming up called ARID's Virtual Walk for Wellness. So they do amazing work in the community. You may not be totally familiar with this organization either, but by the time we finish this program, you will, and they do amazing work for a lot of people here in the Niagara region. We'll find out more about the ARID Recovery Homes, and then, of course, as far as the fundraiser is concerned as well, when Sandi joins us around 1 o'clock today. Kevin, there are a few things that we wanted to update some people on and chat about. There was another post from the Niagara Regional Police Service. It showed up on Niagara 411 today about the Clifton Hill shootings. You may remember a number of weeks ago, some young people were shot and injured in the heart of the Clifton Hill area in the Boston Pizza location there near the top of the T. And there has been virtually, and that's the news, no news with regard to an update on that investigation. They had an idea what sort of vehicle they were looking at, and the kind of, or the people, just kind of a description about the people that committed the crimes. But there has been nothing break in this case, and that was a post that went up this week. So we just thought we'd mention that. That's their service news right there. That's the vehicle that people described and or took a shot of that was in the area at the time.
Surprised you can't pick a license plate off of this?
Like I thought with the like right there. I thought, Kevin, with the technology that we had, that I guess we're not. I guess this isn't really the era of CSI after all.
Yeah, watch too much TV, I guess.
I think we watch too much TV.
I mean, that there looks like you'd be able to at least pick off. That
looks like you should be able to figure something out.
At least a few digits, right? And then you narrow that down to, okay, we got 10,000 cars. Okay, how many of those are blue?
But again, this is
how
not...
many of those are pickup trucks?
This is not television.
I know.
But that's a very specific truck, too. Specific color, design, year, etc. And didn't they say that it had some kind of damage to it as well? I can't recall the entire story right now, but nevertheless...
Yeah, let's see what they say about the vehicle.
There's still nothing more that has been identified.
Here you go. It's described as follow.
F-150 Super Crew, 4 doors, blue in color, obviously. But I mean, you can describe a lot of pickup trucks that way. I mean, that's just off the list from the dealer, pretty much, is what that says. There's nothing. Has visible damage and is missing a door handle. That's what I was trying to...
There you go.
And missing the front license plate. And when it comes to trucks, I didn't know if you're aware of this. If you don't own a truck, you might not be. But trucks' stickers are on the front license plate. You know, when you buy your sticker for your car, well, you don't have to buy it now in Ontario, but prior, when you get your new license plate sticker, if you own a sedan, just a regular car, the sticker goes on the plate on the back of the vehicle. On these vehicles, it goes on the front. And ironically, or coincidentally, or on purpose, this vehicle was missing its front license plate. I don't know if there's any connection there, or if there's any meaning to it, or it was just, as I say, a coincidence. But there you go. Now, here's another piece of information that's very useful. In light of the recent search for a missing American kayaker in Lake Ontario, you may have seen the story, the American and Canadian Coast Guards are recommending that folks looking for a new kayak purchase a bright color, red, yellow, or orange. Now, Kevin, I never thought of this. I'm not a kayaker, but even if I wanted to be a kayaker, I wouldn't necessarily think that the color made a hoo-ha's worth of difference. But so you have a much greater chance of being seen from the air and other distances. What a great idea that I guess, professional kayakers would, or experienced, maybe not professional, but experienced kayakers should already know. But if you're a novice, or you just want to get into the sport for exercise or whatever, that's a great tip. Make sure you are as bright and as garish as you can possibly be, so that you can stand out from a distance from the air while you're on the water. So that's a great tip. Okay, I'm just checking the time here. I didn't want to get into anything too extensive until we know that Sandi's here. Have we got her?
Yeah, we got Sandi, so let's get into this. Their
Awesome.
23rd Annual Walk-a-thon, and it's funny, Lee, I mistyped it earlier today, and I think I fell onto something. I replaced the O with an I, and it became a walk-a-thin. I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea.
A walk-a-thon.
Yeah, instead of a walk-a-thon, a walk-a-thin.
Well, we could all use a walk-a-thon from time to time.
But here, we'll bring Sandi on.
Sandi Day. She is addictions counselor with ARID Recovery Homes. Hi, Sandi. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm super. Thank you for being on the program. Now, you got to tell me, is Sandi Day your birth-given name? Have you been Sandi Day your whole life?
No, that's my married name.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right.
Well, you married.
Happenstance.
You married the right guy. Well,
I did.
Yeah, because what a cool name. You sound like a movie star, like Sandra
It does
Dee.
kind of sound like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Sandi Day. That's amazing. Reminds me actually of an old radio announcer used to be on Buffalo Radio called Sandy Beach. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that.
All right, Sandi, on to a slightly more serious topic. First of all, we appreciate you being here today. Addictions counselor with the ARID Recovery Homes. Before we get into your event, which we're here to talk about, ARID Recovery Homes is one of those organizations, again, that sometimes I get the feeling sails a little bit under the radar for a lot of folks in Niagara, and they might not really be aware of it. Can you tell us a little bit about the work you do and who you are?
Well, we're supportive housing, so we're kind of like second stage in addiction. So we would get people that have left detox or they've left a treatment center coming to us in second stage of recovery. So we get people who are already on their journey of recovery. We've been here since 1976. It started out just men. Our founder, Keith, he just saw a need for somewhere for men to go when they were in recovery. You know, they lost their jobs, their wife kicked them out, they're trying to get their lives together, and he just opened up a house and started on donation and just rolled with it, and here we are years later.
So what were the terms and conditions of being in one of the recovery homes? Obviously, these were people that wanted to cure their addiction, or was it just a place for them to try to have a place to sleep? What was the point of them, I guess, is what I'm asking.
In the beginning or now?
Both, actually.
Well, in the beginning, it was more like there wasn't really a detox. You know, people went to the hospital and, you know, doctors and nurses didn't really understand addiction then. You're just a rubby and, you know, they sent you on your way once they think they've done what they can do for you at the hospital. So that's where, you know, Keith saw the need for these guys to have somewhere to go instead of back to the street where they'd most likely drink again. Where now we have more programming than we did then. So folks come to us and we have relapse prevention in our programming. We teach a lot of life skills. People are totally starting over in life, you know, when they come to us.
Sandi, is it still exclusively male-oriented, or is it for males and females as well?
It was male-oriented for a lot of years. There was just 2 men's houses, and then probably in 2013 the women's house opened, and that's why this house is nicknamed the Wish House, because it was always ARID's wish to have a house for women. Yeah, so that was in 2013.
Okay, and where is that right now? Is that how many of these homes do you have? Do you still have just one, or do you have different locations in Niagara?
Yeah, we have different locations. So we have a men's home in Feulled, a men's home in Fort Erie, and the women's home is in Welland.
Terrific. Okay, and do you get any sort of government funding for this project?
Very little. We get about 38% government funded. The rest is donation, fundraising, people giving items. Like we get a lot of people giving furniture, giving items that we need in the house. Yeah.
And what are your main? We're going to get to the event here in a bit, which is kind of cool. Sure. But if people want to just donate something in particular, obviously you can always donate cash. I get that, and we're going to be talking about the fundraiser in a bit. But what are your major needs for these homes that you run?
Well, a lot of items that we can't reuse, like pillows, we can't reuse. Once someone slept on them, it's their pillow. Blankets, sheets, toiletries. Some people come to us with very little. They'll come from detox or treatment, not really have a lot of clothing or toiletries. So we always take those.
Okay. How does someone qualify or end up or be allowed into to your homes? What sort of process does someone have to go through before they are supported by your group?
So usually we take referrals from other agencies, but that doesn't mean you have to get a referral. You can just go to our website, get our phone number, phone us as a client, and we do a telephone intake with you. We tell you a bit about us. You tell us a bit about you. We see if that's a good fit. Mm-hmm. And if it's a good fit, then we work from there as far as getting you a bed or putting you on the wait list.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Okay, so one more question before we talk about the event. I got a million questions I could ask about this group because I'm not fully versed in it myself. Okay. How many people at any one time are you supporting with these homes?
We have 22 beds.
Okay, and that covers the three. That covers the 3 locations.
The 3 houses, right? So each client has their own room. So really our vision is to have people come and live in dignity while they're recovering, instead of in a hospital setting. Understood. Or a treatment center. So it's a home where they learn to live again in a house setting and be responsible, go to school, get some training, get a job, learn how to live again, and hopefully they can return to the community as productive members of society.
And your work as a counselor involves what?
A lot of life skills, some programming, guidance, referrals to other agencies that are specific to the need of the client. Like if someone has some mental health, we'll refer them for that help. If someone needs training, we'll find the resource for them and we'll refer them there. All right. So we're really guiding.
So you sort of facilitate their path in and through and out of the organization.
Yeah, as well as do some on-site counseling. Like we have some group work, we have some one-on-one work we do as well with them.
Okay, the virtual Walk for Wellness. Now, this is where the rubber hits the road here of our conversation here. This is obviously one of your major fundraisers over the course of the year. Tell us about it.
So this is our second year having a virtual walk-a-thon. There's still some folks that are, reluctant to be in close quarters with COVID. We usually have it on site where people gather and, we can all hang out together and have some food. We do a 5-10K walk. People get pledges. The money comes to us directly. We used to have money that would go to specific projects each year, depending on the need of the house. But it's all going to capital funds this year to help maintain the houses and keep them safe. People can sign up by going on our website, aridhomes.ca. There's a section just for walk-a-thon on there. So you can go on and, you can join and pay through the online website, or you can download a paper pledge and get your pledges and walk whenever you want, take photos, send them to us. We'll put it on our social media, and it's for the whole month of May.
Well, that's cool. So you can walk whenever, however long, etc. for the whole month of May. That's right. And it's kind of like the honor system walk-a-thon. I think that's kind of cool.
That's right. It is. Yeah, definitely.
And again, do you require volunteers at all from outside to help your group?
We do. We have some volunteers that come regularly, and typically they're people who are further down the road in recovery, right? They've walked that path and they're successful. They're back in the community living lives. And then when it comes to our fundraiser times, we need people on site, like hands-on, to help, carry tables, set up chairs, get the food set up, all of that stuff. So yeah, we do.
And I'm assuming that they can contact the organization through the website and all the rest of it if they want to volunteer and help out.
That's right. Or if they want, if they want to ask us what our needs are, we're happy to give them a list of items that we could use within the houses, and we can work with that.
Now, this question is going to put you on the spot a little bit,
Sure.
but in a good way, I hope.
Yeah.
Sometimes one of the best ways to get across what supportive organizations do is to hear anecdotal evidence
Right.
of what they do, and not mentioning any names or anything like that.
Right.
Can you walk us through one of your success stories to give us an idea about what you got, what your folks do?
Well, we do that as part of the walk-a-thon as well. So we have some client testimonials that we videotaped, and we release those at walk-a-thon time.
Okay.
So it's at our online platform. It's on our website. And if you go to YouTube and just type in ARID Homes, you'll see last year's testimonies. You'll see this year's testimonies. We always have one from a male client, a female client. We interview the staff. We interview volunteers and ask them, why do you volunteer for ARID, or why do you give ARID money? And all that stuff's online. You can watch that.
What was your best moment? What has been your best moment so far as a counselor?
I think when families are reunited, right? Like being at the women's home, typically women are the primary caregivers for children. So I get to see that reunification, of women getting their children back. I know in the men's homes it happens as well, because there's dads too. Seeing people return to their families, right? Like moms and dads are getting their sons and daughters back, and wives are getting their husbands back, and children are getting their parents back. And that's the best part of this job.
Sandi Day, addictions counselor for ARID Recovery Homes. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the information. I learned something today, that a number of things today actually that I didn't know.
Good.
And it's super to have you here. Good luck with the fundraiser in May, and stay in touch with us. Let us know how you're doing and what we can do for you. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sandi.
Bye now.
Yeah, cool. The things you learn, Kevin, I have to confess, as much as I thought I knew about Niagara, I did not. I was not familiar with that organization at all. What a necessary thing to have in our society. All right.
No, I'm right there along with you, Lee.
Yeah.
Thought I knew what was going on, and thanks to Sandi for coming on the program. I now know a little more about ARID Recovery Homes.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. Did you want to touch on the 406 insulation speeder?
Oh yeah, we have to do that story. Let me pull that up. Lee, want to tease our musical guest is going to be a Niagara Falls guy, Brandon Agnew, and he's playing a show coming up. So he's got a song with his band, Brandon Agnew and the Pocket Fours.
The Pocket Fours.
Yeah, the song's called Bulletproof.
Okay. I'm writing it down because invariably I will ask you 4 or 5 different times between now and then, and won't remember it. So Brandon Agnew and the Pocket Fours, Bulletproof, coming up every week on this program. We have a Niagara musician or musicians or band or whatever play us off the stage, as the old saying used to go, and just try to highlight some of the musicianship that exists here in Niagara, and that is them for today. So over the course of the last week, since we last met here on Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, there was and by the way, that was just down the hallway here, down the aisle from where we are right now, front window of Fiddler's Poorhouse. And believe me, when it gets a little bit warmer, that's going to be open, and you can come and sit there and eat as if you are on an outdoor patio, but you're in an indoor atmosphere. And believe me, it is beautiful sitting there. It's just a great experience. So that's we have vacated that spot for this spot, and that's fine. This is lovely here. But there you go. So that's one of the nicer locations here at Fiddler's Poorhouse on St. Paul Street in St. Catherine.
Thank you for buying time there, Lee, because that's exactly what it was. I'm trying to find this story. I know it was recently, and it's It's kind of hilarious.
So here, so here's the story. Well, Kevin's searching for the thing. I don't have to read it word by word for word, because I'm pretty familiar with the story anyway, because we were chatting about it earlier. Because there are so many things worth talking about here. Anyway, there was a driver reported driving erratically on the 406 highway, Welland area. So the police initiated a pursuit. And there it is. They attempted to stop, is how they worded it, an erratic driver on 406 near Woodlawn Road. So we're talking like Welland, we're getting close to Niagara Street there. So the incident resulted in charges of flight from police, dangerous operation of a motor vehicle, failure to remain, and a slew of other offenses. Thanks to public witnesses. Now here's the story, really. Thanks to public witnesses, the driver was tracked to a home. So the police didn't catch up with this guy initially. They were not able to stop this erratic driver because the cops will only, and rightfully so, I think, they will only do a pursuit for so long and at a certain high speed before they call it off, because there's a public safety issue, and that makes sense. But because of input and searching, etc., the driver was tracked to a home, and he was located in that house, buried in insulation in the attic. Now, how this fellow expected to ultimately evade capture, I have no idea, but that's pretty extreme. So here are some of the comments. My fiance and I literally called the cops on this guy. He sped down Tremont Drive in St. Catharines at high speed, almost hit our car. We wailed on the horn. He didn't even flinch. Then he cut off several vehicles and sped down the 406. It was a black Ford Escape, missing a right taillight. He was white, maybe mid to late 20s. Called OPP and gave license plate number and description. So this guy drove all the way from St. Catharines to Welland, to the Woodlawn Road area in Welland. Another comment. That same black Ford Escape almost rear-ended me on Niagara Street in Welland earlier in the afternoon. So this guy's been driving wacky all day now. And then he goes to St. Catharines and then back to Welland? Like, crazy stuff.
So he hid in the insulation in the attic.
Yeah. Now, the first thing I thought of is, boy, you got to be desperate to hide in that itchy stuff, because I'm thinking of the pink stuff, the bats, the insulation bats that you put in your wall. But I don't think that's what he was hiding in. If it's insulation that's blown into your attic, it's like fluffy bits. So he got in there, and that was a great comment right there. That's what I envisioned first of all, is the Itchy and Scratchy show. That's what I had originally envisioned. Like, you say insulation, and you go, like, if you've ever dealt with that stuff, you don't want to go anywhere near. But I don't think this was the pink stuff. I think this was the foam stuff that was probably blown into the attic.
And credit to Clark's comment as well, right below there.
Oh, sea hiding does not insulate you from getting charged. Thank you, Clark.
Well played.
Yeah. I'm sure the fellow that is going to get convicted of all those charges, allegedly, doesn't find it quite so funny, but we sure do.
I think everybody did.
We sure do.
You can picture the guy, right? Running into this place. I gotta hide. Cops are coming.
All right,
so
Kevin.
Upstairs.
Kevin,
yes.
Is there anything now that you can conjure up that would indicate that we need yet another demonstration for freedom in Canada? Do we have lack of freedom somewhere that I'm not aware of?
We must, because people are still fighting.
There's a whack of motorcycles that are arriving in Ottawa today. It's called Rolling Thunder. And freedom, such and such, or so forth. All right. We kind of got the concept back when we were all wearing masks and we couldn't gather, and we did there's the event schedule right there. And the first one, though, is we were talking about earlier, is really typically Canadian. Tonight
Oh, here you go. This one for tonight.
Yeah, the fringy Friday or whatever, Freedom Fighters of Canada, one of the organizations, whoever the hell they are, that is behind this. And it's really nice and typical in the fact that their little procession is going to end up at a poutine festival. 6 p.m., Parliament Hill, ending at Poutine Fest.
Please take us very, very seriously. By the way, the convoy wraps up at Poutine Fest.
Yeah.
Enjoy your night.
Which is probably across the river in Gatineau. Is it actually in Ottawa or is it actually in Gatineau across the bridge, which used to be called Hull? Rolling Thunder and Freedom Fighters Canal? Oh, Canada.
Canada, yeah.
Canada, yeah. So, okay, but what are we fighting for now? You don't have to wear a mask there. You don't have to. You don't even have to show proof of vaccination to go into a restaurant. What are we fighting for freedom for? Go to Ukraine. See how that works out for you. Like, jeez. Come on. What are we doing, Kevin, with this? What is happening?
I don't know. One thing I hate now, though, Lee,
All I have is questions. I have no answers.
is the misappropriation of the Canadian flag.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
Because now, when I see cars, and you see them all the time, you see cars driving around waving the Canadian flag, and I'm like, is this guy...
Now this is a bad sign.
I know, I don't know. I'm like, is that guy just, like, really patriotic, in which case I'm behind you? Or is he just a jackass?
When did flying Canadian flags on your vehicles now become a bad thing? Because it has. Every time I see a couple of Canadian flags on a truck or whatever, I think you're a right-wing redneck that really doesn't have a concept of freedom to begin with. Sorry, that's how I respond to it, and that's not how I want to respond to seeing the Canadian flag. But these groups have done this to us.
I know. Lee, want to tell you what I'm up to when I say WeeStream, and Sandra's been holding on patiently, so we'll squeeze in some time for her before we get to our musical guest.
Okay.
This Sunday, WeeStream. Hey, sports are back. You know, you mentioned that some of the freedoms are returning.
Yeah.
A lot of our business pre-COVID used to be sports, including
Absolutely.
a great partnership with the Ontario Volleyball Association. I know that there are a lot of families here in Niagara that are either already traveled up to Waterloo or heading up this weekend. On Sunday, we will be at Rim Park, streaming the 18U boys and girls bronze and gold medal matches live from Rim Park for Ontario
Where's
Volleyball.
Rim Park?
Rim Park's in Waterloo. It's just a big facility. It's the Rim Park Manulife Center, but oh man, if you haven't been up there since Rim came around, I know they've fallen by the wayside, but they built this giant community, and it also this facility, Lee, is massive.
They have some fabulous facilities up in that area.
I think they're talking 4 arenas, including one dedicated for figure skating. They've got about 15 gymnasiums and a field house. And man, oh man, there's just volleyball everywhere you turn.
The KW region in Ontario really is
It's booming.
Booming. Well, it has been for years, but it's really really cool. And I'm assuming that there will be Niagara participants in this.
Oh, there
tournament.
are. Yeah, there absolutely are. Now, whether or not they'll make the finals and we'll be streaming them, I'm not sure.
No,
and
but people,
also,
if they follow these teams, they'll be able to see this.
100%. It will be live on the OVA Facebook page. We'll also be live on their YouTube channel as well.
And when does this start?
Sunday, first match gets underway at 11:30 in the morning.
Okay, awesome.
So 11:30 a.m. You can watch that. And now, before we get to our musical guest, let's squeeze Sandra onto the program.
Hello, Sandra. What can we do for you today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
What you can do for me, I have a real huge upset with MPP Wayne Gates.
Okay.
I want to just read this to you first and then get to that. And
can't you just tell me the story? Instead of reading stuff to me, can't you just tell me the story?
I can't tell you a quote. It's a quote.
Okay.
I want to read the quote.
All right, go for it.
So, and this kind of ties into everything. So I can tell you this stuff, but I just want this quote.
All right, go for it.
And the quote says, courage isn't having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have strength. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the little voice at the end of the day that says, I'll try again tomorrow. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit. All right. That being said,
All right.
in regards to MPP Wayne Gates and his anyway, I had an issue with ODSP where I wanted to make a complaint to human rights. So I was navigating the system as I knew I had to do. So I started in 2018. I went to Rob Nicholson, who kind of helped me somewhat, but not really. And that's a story in itself. And this is where the taxpayers' dollars are going to these people, big money going to these people. And their big desks and all their assistants and everything, and they end up not even helping you. So Wayne referred me to the ombudsman. The ombudsman referred me to human rights. Human rights sent me back to Wayne Gates to fill out a complaint form. Then the complaint form supposedly went to human rights and was going to go to the governor general. And then I was in 2020, of March 2020, just at the cusp of COVID. I was expecting a phone call. I was told by Wayne Gates' office, you're going to get a phone call. That phone call never ever came. And then during COVID, I was like trying to find out, are these people still working in their offices during COVID or what's going on? Anyway, nothing. And then I decided to call Human Rights myself to find out like where my case is. They didn't even have a record of me. So needless to say, since 2018, which is a long time to be the buck being passed by these politicians and people, and still nothing done. I even called the office and asked to have my documents returned to me, and I would go ahead and do it myself, and they never replied. Then I called the police because I said I want to get my records, and they said they could do a courtesy call. But I didn't bother because I'm not a person to stir up stuff if I can. So I kind of left it at that for now. And then I found some documents at home here that I can use to actually start advocating myself again. And, people might think that this is just like, tedious stuff or nothing, but it's major stuff when you're a taxpayer and you're paying these people all this money. And Wayne Gates, in all that time, I saw him once in his office, and then I saw him twice at Fort Erie racetrack. He was having meals there, and I had spoke to somebody that I knew in the horse industry there, and I said, like, I see him there all the time, and he's there, and he's having his meal, but I never see him betting. And they said, oh, no, he doesn't bet. He just goes there for the free meal he gets for helping to keep Fort Erie in place.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay.
There's more.
At the risk. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead. This man.
Okay, we got to go. Sandra, we're running.
Sheep's clothes is what he is. A wolf in sheep's clothes.
We're running out of time, and we're starting to get.
I waited over an hour, Lee, to even just speak, and that is quite extensive.
Yes, but we're getting into Sandra. With all due respect,
Yes,
we're trying. I'm sorry, Sandra. We are starting to get into character assassination here, and that's not what we're about. Okay, if you have a legitimate complaint, I get that. There are avenues through which you can file those complaints. This you've made your comments and your opinions known, and I appreciate that.
It's okay for him to character assassinate me in a letter, and in the letter he's telling me that I'm disrespectful to his staff, insulting them repeatedly. And then, they can only assist me in writing.
There is a leader.
You know what I mean? Like, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. Why should they have special whatever?
There is a leader of the NDP party here in Ontario. Her name is Andrea Horvath. That's who Wayne Gates works for. So I'm suggesting that you contact Andrea, and again, the ombudsman is a good place to go as well. We don't like to cut people off here on the program, but I think we've done all we can to help Sandra over the last few weeks. Brandon Agnew, is excited to be playing a show in his hometown, Niagara Falls, May the 7th, with friends at Camp Cataract. You can catch a night of original music with Rita and the Daydreamers. And I love the names. It sounds like they're straight out of the 60s. Rita and the Daydreamers and A Sea of Gold and Burgundy sharing the bill. Show starts at 7 p.m. on the 7th of May, which is next Saturday. A week from tomorrow. Show starts at 7, $10 at the door. Thank you. Brandon Agnew and the Pocket Fours, ladies and gentlemen, and their song Bulletproof will be playing us off the stage. Thank you once again to Gales Gas Bars for being our premier sponsor and fueling this program. Thanks to Performance Heating and Air, Verge Insurance Group, WeeStream. Kevin, always a pleasure working with you. We'll be back next week. We may be here on a Wednesday. We may be here on a Thursday. We're not sure. We'll keep you posted. Thanks again for Fiddler's Poorhouse being our home for this program. Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry will be back in a week. Have yourselves a great weekend, everybody. Here are the Pocket Fours.